Hello friends, I welcome you all to Nandip Academy for UPSC and MPSC. In this segment, we are going to analyze, understand and discuss multiple choice questions that are based on the Hindu dated 8th of January 2021. Along with this, I would also like to inform you that the multiple choice questions for the entire month of December that are based on the Hindu along with an analysis are now available on Nandip app. So let's begin with the first question. Why was Raj Ayar in news recently? A. He is the Chief Information Officer of the US Army. B. He is the first Indian to win the elections in Georgia. C. He has been appointed to the Health Department in the US. D. None of the above. So here the first answer to the first question is A. Raj Ayar is the Chief Information Officer of the US Army. Now please remember, this is a very important piece of information, because if you see yesterday's mains paper, UPSC mains paper, there is one question for 15 marks that is based directly related to the NRIs and the persons of Indian origins who are contributing to the name of India, you can say. So Raj Ayar is one about whom you could have written if you had attempted the mains examination. So let's see what else we can study about this. I can also say that this analysis is not going to help you only for your prelims. It is very helpful for you for dealing with the mains examination also. So let's see what we need to know about Raj Ayar. Raj Ayar will direct the execution of policies and programs to modernize the US Army to achieve a digital overmatch against near-peer adversaries such as China and Russia. Indian American Dr. Raj Ayar has taken over as the first Chief Information Officer of the US Army after the Pentagon created this position in July 2020. One of the highest ranking Indian American civilians in the US Department of Defense, Raj Ayar, who holds a PhD in electrical engineering, serves as the principal advisor to the Secretary of the Army and directs representations of the Secretary in matters relating to the information management information technology. The Army has committed to leveraging advanced technologies such as cloud computing, robotics, and artificial intelligence as critical enablers for future warfighting through a concept called multi-domain operations. So that's a very important post which is held by a person of Indian origin, and Raj Ayar is his name. Let's move on to the next question. Which of the following is not true regarding fiscal deficit? A. It is a shortfall in government's income compared with its spending. B. It is calculated as a percentage of the gross domestic product. C. The government meets the fiscal deficit by borrowing money. And D. The Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Management Act 2003 provides that the center should take appropriate measures to limit the fiscal deficit up to 5% of the GDP by 31st March 2021. So all answers seem similar. Verse 3 are correct in relation to the fiscal deficit. Yes, the answer for 2 is D, because the Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Management Act 2003 provides that the center should take appropriate measures to limit the fiscal deficit up to 3% of the GDP by 31st March 2021. So the answer here is D. Let's move on to the next question. Yes, we need to see the analysis of this. What exactly is fiscal deficit? How is it calculated? So the government describes fiscal deficit of India as the excess of total disbursements from the Consolidated Fund of India, excluding repayment of the debt, over total receipts into the fund, excluding the debt received during a financial year. In simple words, it is a shortfall in the government's income compared with its spending. The government that has a fiscal deficit beyond its mean is when a government spends beyond its means, it will usually have a fiscal deficit. It is calculated as a percentage of the gross domestic product, or simply as totally money spent in excess of income. In either case, the income figures include only taxes and other revenues and excludes money borrowed to make up for the shortfall. This is the way a fiscal deficit is calculated. It is the total expenditure of the government, which includes capital and revenue expenditure. From this, you need to subtract minus the total income of the government. And here, the income of the government means the revenue receipts, recovery of loans, and other receipts. The Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Management Act 2003 provides that the center should take appropriate measures to limit the fiscal deficit up to 3% of the GDP by 31st March 2021. So that is about the GDP, about fiscal deficit. Let's move to the next question. Consider the following statements. Caracal has been recently included into the list of critically endangered species. 2. The National Board of Wildlife in its 60th meeting has approved this inclusion. Which of the above statements are correct? A. 1 only, B. 2 only, C. Both 1 and 2, and D. Neither 1 nor 2. Here the answer is C. Both of the statements are correct, and therefore we say the answer is C. Let's see what else do we need to know about this species, which is called caracal. It is actually a medium-sized wild cat which is found in some parts of Rajasthan and Gujarat. The National Board of Wildlife in its 60th meeting has approved the inclusion of caracal into the list of critically endangered species for taking up conservation efforts with financial support under the centrally sponsored scheme Development of Wildlife Habitat. As of now, there are 22 wildlife species under recovery program for critically endangered species. The National Board for Wildlife is constituted by the central government under Section 5A of the Wildlife Protection Act 1972. The UPSC usually asks questions about critically endangered species and the species which are included in the red list, and this is one important species that has been included, and considering its reduction in population. Let's move on to the next question. Consider the following statements. 1. The 15th Pravasi Bharatiya Divas is being organized on 9th January. 2. The theme of the convention this year is contributing to Atmanirbhar Bharat. Which of the above statements are correct? A. 1 only, B. Only 2, C. Both 1 and 2, D. Neither 1 nor 2. So here the answer is only 2. Yes, the answer is only 2 because it is not the 15th Bharatiya Divas, it is the 16th Pravasi Bharatiya Divas that will be organized on 9th of January, and the theme of the convention is contributing to Atmanirbhar Bharat. That is correct. The second statement is correct, but the first is incorrect. So let's see what else do we need to know about the 16th Pravasi Bharatiya Divas. It is being organized on 9th of January in a virtual format in the backdrop of COVID pandemic. The Pravasi Bharatiya Divas is a day that is celebrated observing, it started in 2015 and it is celebrated on 9th January by the Republic of India to mark the contribution of the overseas Indian community towards the development of India. The day commemorates the return of Mahatma Gandhi from South Africa to Mumbai on 9th January 1915. The keynote address for the 16th Pravasi Bharatiya Divas will be given by Chief Guest Chandri Prasad Santokhi, who is the President of Suriname. The theme of the convention this year is contributing to Atmanirbhar Bharat. Let's move on to the next question. The G. Kishan Reddy Committee is tasked with which of the following? A. Financial aspects, B. Language and culture aspects, C. Land aspects, or D. Religion aspects. So the G. Kishan Reddy Committee is tasked with B. Language and culture aspects of Ladakh. Okay, let's see something more about this committee. The center has decided to form a committee to protect the language, culture, and land of Ladakh and ensuring citizens' participation in the Union Territory's development. The committee will be headed by the Minister of State for Home G. Kishan Reddy and will include elected representatives from Ladakh, Ladakh Autonomous Hill Development Council, central government, and the Ladakh administration. Ladakh is a region that is administered by India as a union territory and constituting a part of the larger Kashmir region. So that is all about the multiple choice questions for 8th of January, and all this will be available in a PDF format on the Andip app. The questions, the answers along with an analysis. Thank you. See you in the next session with a new set of multiple choice questions. Thank you.